hand sanitizer is lethal to your brain. Let me tell you how I know this. So on Monday, Deborah and I went to a shopping center and she needed some treatment done, and I spent some time in a hyperbaric chamber. And the conversation followed the route of all of our conversations right now, let's face it, and COVID-19, coronavirus, came up pretty quickly, along with the conversation around hand sanitizer. Now, this is the only hand sanitizer that we have in our house, and Deborah bought it about 4 months ago for our guest loo in case people wanted to save water, doing our part. We haven't used a lot. So the conversation descends into, have you seen the shops right now? Have you seen that even here there's no hand sanitizer? And we've seen social media where people are stockpiling the stuff and trying to sell it, and the prices, and immediately we start thinking, well, maybe we should also get some hand sanitizer, and maybe actually we just need one more of these, because how much can one family use? So off we go downstairs to the spa, local spa, and shelves are cleaned out along with all the toilet paper, and we sat there looking at this thinking, really? As some of the spa employees came wheeling some trolleys with piled high with toilet paper, and before they could even unpack them, people were taking them off the trolleys. Fortunately, we had 3 rolls left, and we didn't feel we needed to stockpile at that point in time. Off we went to the local Clicks, and no hand sanitizer there either. We went to Woolies, there was nothing there either. And now we're starting to feel a little bit alarmed, and there are people like sort of following us around, and the same people are going to the same shops looking for the same thing. We walk into the pharmacy, and the lady comes up to us and says, can I help you? And Deborah says, I'll give you one guess what we're looking for. And she says, no, well, unfortunately we don't have any of that, nor do we have any rubbing alcohol, but here's the thing. Do you know what I'm selling our customers now is surgical spirits, because you know how amazing that stuff is, right? So she's got a little spray bottle, and she sprays some onto our hands, and we rub together, and ooh, surgical spirits. Oh wow, that stuff will, will kill anything. And so she said, how much would you like? And I looked at Deborah thinking, 1 bottle. And she said, well, they come in a pack of 6. So immediately we're thinking, well, maybe a little bottle. So one's gone. 6 bottles of surgical spirits. We go home to the girls and busy chatting to the girls, and I said, listen, this stuff is flammable AF. We need to be really careful with this stuff. When Eskom fails and we need to light candles and stuff, please keep the surgical spirits away from everywhere. Next thing is, please don't spray it anywhere on anything that is varnished, any floor that is treated. Don't put it anywhere near your clothes, materials, because this stuff is hectic. So we got this stuff on, and the next morning I said to Deborah, I'm not so sure about this. And off we go to social media. But now, before I tell you about the surgical spirits, the conversation in the car on the way home from that shopping center with our surgical spirits, tucked into our bag. Debs, so if we had to find a shop right now that had hand sanitizer, how much would you buy? The answer, 4 to 5 bottles. Why? Because there is none. You see, all of a sudden we've got FOMO. We have got fear of missing out. We have got fear of being the only people left on this planet without hand sanitizer. And without hand sanitizer, we're going to have the world's legion of coronavirus viruses attacking our family because, oh, look, they're the only one without hand sanitizer. You see what that does? It creates this idea of if we don't have it. So what is actually killing our brains isn't so much hand sanitizer, but what's killing our brains is fear. So we have this surgical spirits, and it didn't take me very long the next morning to Google and a couple of very reputable sites, medical sites, and some comparisons and vodka and a whole bunch of other things. And you know what it turns out is that surgical spirits isn't really great, and it's not really going to do much either. And here's the thing, neither is hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer is for when you can't wash your hands. So that act, and you can go and find the same YouTube videos that I found, look around, find the good ones, listen to a lot before you believe everything. And what I can tell you is that all the hand sanitizer in the world is not going to replace just simply washing your hands and washing them properly. And hand sanitizer for when you can't wash your hands. And it's the act of actually rinsing the soap and rinsing everything off your hands that is the most beneficial from a hand wash point of view. In other words, this bottle here will see us out for at least another month, maybe 2 months in our family, if we just have a little bit in the car, where we just coming into a shopping center, going out of a shopping center, and just want to do that. And here's the next thing, you need to put that, you need to splash it all over your hands so that there's no part of your hands, under your nails, in between your fingers, in between everything that isn't covered in surgical spirits. And in surgical spirits. in hand sanitizer. And then the next thing is you make sure that you keep on going until it's completely dry. And then the next thing is don't put hand sanitizer on wet hands or hands that are already wet or clammy, because you can read that stuff yourself. But the point I want to make to you is the following. The day I got cancer was massive for me, and I was overcome by fear, to the point that I would have tried absolutely everything to overcome cancer. There's not a single remedy, there's not a single cure that I wouldn't have tried. I became a #cancer warrior. I'm going to do everything in my fight against cancer. But the fear grips you, and the fear controls you, so much so that your life becomes again about fighting this obstacle. Your life becomes about cancer in exactly the same way that our lives have become about coronavirus. And until you can overcome that same fear, until you can look at things rationally, until you can learn which advice is good advice and which advice is actually not worth much, until you can decide for yourself what works for you, what doesn't work for you, until you can get an idea of the actual facts and deal with the facts, then what are you dealing with? And a lot of what we're dealing with is a fear response, and a response brought up to the point that we're buying surgical spirits and stockpiling hand sanitizer. So I had to learn, and it took me time, and it's going to take you time. So I had to embrace the fact that I had cancer, and you're going to have to embrace the fact that our world has changed and that coronavirus is a thing. And how are you going to overcome those thoughts in your head? Because it's the thoughts that determine the rest, and it's the thoughts that determine how you're going to act. It's the thoughts that are going to determine what you're going to do from here. So life has changed, and how are you going to change with it? And you've got that choice, and it's a choice that I would urge you to take, because you cannot be a victim to coronavirus. You don't have coronavirus, hopefully. And what are you a victim of? Are you a victim of the news? Are you a victim of the fear? Are you a victim of what you're reading? Or are you actually a victim of your own thoughts, to the point that you're stockpiling toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and doing things that are nonsensical? So from me to you, be safe out there. Try and stay off social media. Ironically, this is probably where you're going to see this video. And breathe. Take some time and breathe. Just breathe. And figure out how you're going to roll the punches, because the punches are going to come. From me to you, stay safe out there. Cheers.